Alright. Welcome back to Lenz Comic Corner Classic, Less Known Classics. This is episode number 1828 and Doubleshot 1722. Yep. Right now I'm discussing what appears to be the penultimate trade that collects The Flash by Mark Waid. This, of course, is book 8. I think there might be one more because it's still more. It's still like a little bit more Mark Waid stuff for Flash. Yes, because right now we have The Flash by Mark Waid. Yes. Now this collects issues. (151) to 163. Yeah, this would be the finale for. Now, here's the thing: there is approximately the first 9 issues that he does write those. Yes, that is indeed true. He does write issues 151 to 159. Yep, he does write those. But 160, 161, 163, he does not write these issues. Nope. Now, who writes issues 160, 61, and 62? Well, 160 is now by Brian Augustine, his co-writer for this run. Yep, he writes that one. Yeah, Pat McGrail, who does issue 161 and 163. Yeah, my guess is the reason why they threw these 3 issues in it, because this came out this period of time. They probably want to bridge the gap. They probably don't want to basically miss an issue, just because Waid himself didn't write it, per se. So, basically, 151, 159 is the Dark Flash saga. Yes, it's basically about this guy here, Walter West. And Wally is missing, per se. Yeah, he's missing. So, now, like I said, Mark Waid and Brian Augustine are the writers of this run. Brian Augustine basically does do 160, like I said, but he does not do 61. That's Pat McGrail. And in the case of basically the storyline here, basically Walter West basically is what he called himself, anyways. He is from a dark future where Linda Park is dead, and during this story arc, we finally have officially the wedding. We pick up basically off 142 when we finish the storyline, where you have Linda and Wally finally get married. You can kind of think of 160 as the epilogue to that. And basically 161, I should point out though, is a story that doesn't feature Wally West at all. Nope, it's a story featuring Jay Garrick and basically when him and his wife got married. Or basically him and his GSA buddy decided to have one last night out of town before he goes on his honeymoon. Yep. Yeah, they also included in this book Secret Files and Orders number 2, which is the only other book that he wrote, anyways. Yes, Mark Waid and Brian Augustine is most of the writing of Pat McGrail and Joe Casey. The artwork is of Paul Bleacher, Scott Nolans, Duncan Russell, Doug Brothwith, Rob Lamb, and Tom Morgan. The cover art is done by Steve Lighto. Yes. Now, in the case of the storyline, now pretty much in the way this Dark Flash does not explain who he is. He says he's Wally West, but he really is not him at all. Yeah. So these are your order of stuff in here. You have, 151, 152. You have annual number 12, which, here's a fun fact for you. This was the last annual that Flash had for a long time. Now you might be asking, did Waid write the annual? No. They probably included it because, and this is my personal theory, it was done by his co-writer, Brian Augustine. Now, was there any published release of the 12? You might ask. Yes, there actually is one more. Annual 13, and that was done by Chuck Dixon. Now you might be asking, Nick, is this annual in trade? And your answer to that question is... Was it collected in the Jeff Johns stuff, per se? No. That annual was not collected in Jeff Johns' run, which I thought that's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's one of the Planet DC stuff. You would think that DC would put this in here. Nope. They don't. That I think is kind of weird. And it's done by Chuck Dixon, of all people. Now, the annual itself is part of the Jail Ape stuff. You might be thinking, what the heck is Jail Ape? Jail Ape was simply Gorilla Grodd's attempt to turn people into gorillas. Yes. That is the main purpose of the storyline. Now, we do go a little bit backstory of, well, Walter West, in a way, where his Linda died, he ends up with this woman named Angela, who he does briefly engage to, and then he disappears. And here's something quite fun facty about this particular character. He does return after the story wraps up in issue... Wait for it. You're going to love this. Basically, he shows up in this particular issue. And you're like, what? Really? He does? Now, Walter West, his next official appearance is not until issue 761. Yes, seriously, an issue by Joshua Williamson brings back this character for the first time. And you're thinking, how long had it been since the last appearance of this character, per se? I mean, he last appeared back in 159, which came out in April of probably like March 2000. That was his first appearance in 20 years. Yes, 20 years. Of course, he was also featured in the annual. Yeah, because he turned into an ape in this one. So... yeah, like they pretty much threw it in here because he... Now, Brian Augustine himself, like you were thinking, is there any like other issues of Flash out there like they decided not to collect and trade? Well, they did pretty much collect all of the issues that he did. They didn't throw in their annuals 10. You were thinking, did they do annuals 10, 11? No, they never put these two annuals in trade. Which you're asking yourself, why were these put in trade for? Well, let's see. Were they collecting the Grant Morrison book? Nope. They weren't even collected in Flash by Mark Waid, book 6. You would think that would be a perfect place to put it, but that is a no-no. It's not there. And 11? No. It's not even in the previous book at all. Which is kind of weird. Yeah. But the issues in here are really good. I think the Dark Flash up is quite interesting. It's surprising the storyline didn't last as long as it did. Yeah, of course, he eventually does go back in the future. And, of course, when he does return, he just shows up for that one issue, and that was simply it for him. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why in the world did Waid leave the book? Well, my personal theory is because he's been on long enough. He's been on since the 90s. Like, he came with book issue 62 for crying out loud. And he didn't leave it to issue, like... Yes, 62 was the very first issue he did for the book. Yeah, it was a long run that started back in 1992. Yes, mostly an 8-year run of the book. Yes, 8 years. And, well, With this book here, I officially have concluded most of Mark Waid's run. There's still a little bit left per se. You probably ask, okay, they went 163. Is like anything else for his run they could put in trade? Yes, there is a little bit, not much. They would probably have to collect all Flash, which to date this book has not been collected. Let me double check that just to be sure. Was this book in the original printing of this book of this one? No, it wasn't. It was collected in Flash Fast Mail Live Full Throttle. Yep. So they probably would have to put on there all Flash #1, the story from DC Infinite Holiday Special, and issues 131, 231, and 237. Well, they probably throw in 237 in because it's the issue that comes afterwards. Because, well, there's kind of a way of story arc that kind of consumes the remainder issues of this run. It is something, though, that basically Flash Flame 2, that they don't finish collecting this book. No, they don't for some reason. Yeah, it just left unfinished. Which to me sounds like a really dumb idea to do. No, seriously, it is really dumb the fact DC never bothered to finish collecting this book at all. So, yes. By the way, I give the Flash book I give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's just damn good. Also, with reviewing this trade here, I have now officially reviewed for Flash Flame 2 issues, the first 18 issues, 162, issue 62 to 225, and that's it. That's most of the volume so far. You're thinking, really? You view that much? Yes, I have. Alright, now moving on. Now we're going back in time from the year 2000 to 1970s with The Secret Society of Supervillains. Yep, this book here collects the first 10 issues, of this very short-lived book. Yeah, it also collects Amazing World DC Comics number 11. Now, this book was mostly done by Jerry Conway. He did the opening 2 issues that are publishing here, along with issues 8, 9, and 10. Issues 3 and 4 are done by David Anthony Croft. Yeah, Bob Resco, who does issues 5 through 7. Yeah, this is one of those books basically where, now, the thing with this book is that it brings back Captain Comet. That's him. He's a character from 1950s that Jerry Conway simply just brought him in here to like modern day. Now I should point out this is the original Secret Society. Yes, the very first one. And this is brought together by their benefactor, Darkseid. Yep. Like I mentioned in my comic history, the main purpose of the Secret Society of Supervillains mostly put in a bit, like a small little bit, it's basically DC's take on the Masked Duel. Basically a large group of villains to take on the main team, Justice League. Masked Duel made a debut back in the 60s, while in the case of Secret Supervillains was in the 1970s. Now they would have a Star Sapphire, which is actually, despite appearance-wise, is not Kara Farrer, despite the fact it's the same hair color. Nope. It is a woman by the name of Rema Norta. That's who basically joins this group. And also the first appearance of one of the Manhunter clones. Yeah. He basically is in the first 5 issues before he's killed off here. And the way the book is written, it's like the characters are meant to be good guys. And the first issue, not only have the assembly of the group of villains, here's your lineup for the very first issue. Manhunter, Gorilla Grodd, Copperhead, Captain Cold, Mirror Master, Sinestro, Star Sapphire, Shadow Thief, the Wizard, and Captain Boomerang. Three of these villains are Flash villains: Captain Cold, Mirror Master, and Captain Boomerang. Starfire and Sinestro, Green Lantern villains. Also, Gorilla Grodd is also a Green Lantern villain as well. The Wizard, I believe he's a Green Lantern villain. No, he's a JSA villain. But as for Copperhead, I'm thinking, okay, is he enemy of somebody here? Well, you could say he's a Batman villain per se, but that's the best way to describe the guy. And at first, you have this mysterious benefactor, which is later revealed to be Darkseid himself. Yes, and this lineup mostly would change a bit over time. Yeah, and then for some reason, they include a character named Hijack from the Royal Flush Gang. They had him join the group for some strange reason. Yes, and he's only part of the group just for a few issues and he leaves. But the most surprising one was Captain Comet, a superhero. Yes. First appearance, Strange Strangers number 9. Now, he first appeared in Strange Strangers number 9 and basically appears on a regular basis to issue, well, by issue 49. Yeah, he returned basically in this book at the last appearing in issue 49. Yes, why Captain Cold's here? My guess is because Jerry Conway just dug him up. Yeah. Also, if you look at the cover for these issues here, yeah, that band they have on top of there, a lot of DC Comics. If you look at any comic book back in the 70s, they would have this banner on there. And the way this group is treated in this book is that they act like superheroes despite the fact they're villains. Mm-hmm. And this building here, this skyscraper, their base. So you're thinking, why didn't the Justice League ever have building a skyscraper? Well, technically, you can kind of think of this as the very first group of characters ever in a comic book where their main headquarters is a skyscraper. Yes, and you might be thinking, did any other group ever accomplish this in DC Comics? The answer is no, nobody did. Next time this was ever accomplished was in the 2000s when you had New Avengers occupy Stark Tower, aka Avengers Tower. Yeah, plus level the interior stuff in here. Apparently Darkseid paid for this building. Apparently. Yeah. But I just love the chemistry. I love the artwork in here. This book is just so good. Like, you might think, oh, am I drooling over it? Not necessarily, no. It's just the book is really good. Oh, yeah, definitely. They even find a character named Mantis. Yes, seriously. A Jack Kirby character. Mm-hmm. It's like for the opening issues, like the whole thing with Darkseid, eventually they just do things on their own. And this doesn't last too long after this. Like, after the first 10 issues, like, the book, like, after this opening Stark, which was basically the first 5 issues, after this, the book would last for 10 issues. And it wasn't canceled to low sales. Oh, no. It was because DC implosion. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, this is how the writer of the book draws Darkseid, which, kind of an odd look for him, but yes, that is Darkseid. He, of course, just watch everything, per se. Now you might be thinking, like, when the storyline wraps up, do they get any? Well, then we have a guest appearance issue 4 by the Black Racer, another Green Lantern character. Interesting. Yep. And here's the thing, after the opening 5 issues, they pretty much have nothing to do with Darkseid. And they have new people join the team. You have Lex Luthor, him became a flashy funk man. Yeah, Flashy Funkman is a character from the Mr. Miracle book. They have this guy joining the team. Lex I get, but they also have Captain Stingery join the team. Who is I believe, like a Martian man. Oh, he's a Batman villain. A very minor one at best. It's like Conway just doing like every minor. It's like, oh, let's bring out the obscure villains to join the secret society of supervillains. Yeah, you had these characters all take on Captain Cold and Black Canary. Yep. We even have a brief guest appearance in here by... Excuse me. Like, see that little satellite over there? That's the Justice League space station. The satellite, which the Justice League were based out of from the 70s up until the 80s. And, of course, that concept was brought back in the 2000s thanks to the Justice League TV show. Yeah, then we have Felix Faust on the team with issue 7. Yes, Felix Faust. But all in all, fun series. Love it. I give this book a 10 out of 10. Just really good. Okay, so that's episode of you. Next one's going to be The Rising of the Shoot Hero. Okay, next video. Bye.